Hi, welcome to
Sure.
Chaotic Bullshit. So,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I can hear myself. No, I don't like that.
Good.
Shush.
Supper.
I don't know why you can hear yourself.
I'm insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain.
In the brain.
Right. So, yes, we are with our lovely party, and we have a slight issue because last time the PC died, and I haven't really had a chance since last week to sort this out because it requires having everyone here to sort it out. So that's sort of what I'm doing right now. I do apologize that it's cutting a little bit into stream time, but it won't at the same time because I'm still going to go on and continue to say what we are doing today. So last session we had this awesome party come from the future to the past, kind of like that movie called The Future Past, by it was X-Men. That was it. Days of Future Past. That was the name. I make references
Because he was thinking Back to the Future.
I mean, that's another one. Yeah, Back to the Future, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, you actually know that movie? You're an awesome person.
Yes, of course I know Hot Tub Time Machine. It's also probably one of the funniest time-based movies I think I've ever seen. But, Bill and Ted, isn't that got time shenanigans in it?
Yes, 1, 2, and 3, but I haven't watched 3 yet.
Yes.
But 2
and then,
sucks, to be honest.
there's like a whole bunch of others. Oh my god. Okay, I mean, I'm not surprised this takes long. It's trying to upload a 4K map, but Jesus Christ. Come on.
4K? Jeez.
Well, the 4K wasn't intentional. I just, downloaded the map and gone, boom, and it does all of the maps default in 4K. I don't know if it's actually going to let me upload it, or if it's going to keep crying. Cry more for me. Oh, it's the site has just completely stopped working now. This map is just going, nope, you unalived me. I'm not. Oh, wait, it did actually load. Just as I press reload. God damn it! Map is there. It's fine. But I'm not going to introduce this map to you yet because there is good reasons I'm not just being maniacal for the sake of maniacal. Well, I am occasionally, but not this time. I am, however.
Death.
Huh?
Is the map death?
Is the map death? I don't think so. I'm not planning to kill you with a map. It kind of sounds like a sort of.
You could kill someone with a map. You take a very large map and you bonk someone over the head with it.
Well, I was going to say death by paper cuts, but yeah, that works too. You
just take a war table and you start beating somebody to death with it.
Jesus Christ.
That's very functional. Very multi-use.
Very different approach.
You get to murder someone and then also use the map to find an escape route.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can
Fair
you
enough.
deal damage with paper?
Oh, you can definitely deal damage with paper. There is a method of death by 1,000 cuts. I don't know how much damage would be, considering that it needs 1,000 cuts to hit you, probably not overly effective, but, well, actually, I say that's not normally by paper, that's normally by swords, but whatever. So, putting that aside, yes, this lovely, awesome party is in the past. And they're in the past because they were shunted here by a time mage from the past who came back to the future, who was originally from the future, so it's a future version of themselves that was in the past that brought them to the past to send themselves back to the future.
Huh.
I have no clue what you just said, but I do know the one who started this is not here.
We can kill him
Honestly,
at least.
I can't explain that any easier than that, unfortunately, because that is literally what happened, and that's the truth. Not that you know why or how or what. The only thing you know is that you had noticed a version of yourselves leaving as you got pulled in, and that was an observation that I believe was made by Dread and Vixie, I think. I don't know. Some of you guys noticed it.
Well, we all know because, I was told.
Sharing intel, which is a good idea. So, beyond that, you guys had been thrown into a situation where some dragons were being hunted down by some hags, and you helped them out. Because, well, you're nice people, I guess? I don't know. You felt pity?
Dragons.
Dragons. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we just gotta help them, yeah.
Dragons!
My brain go brrr. I see dragon.
Ringo Burr, Dragon. Dragon.
Yes.
Dragon.
Drag on.
I
I love
don't know what that part was about, to be honest. That makes it about
Oh.
sort of more like a delicacy. It's like, ho, 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 Dragon.
No, we don't eat dragons. We worship them in the ground they walk upon.
I don't know. What are you once they hide? But yeah, sure.
Sacrilege.
Putting that aside, you guys managed to help them out, and then you went back to their base to not die a horrible death from several Shadow Fate, probably. And you asked for a little bit of help with your machine, and they also offered you some help because you would help them out. You literally revived one of them, and you made sure they didn't die to 2 hags. So, frankly, they'll take that. And in return, you got some rewards. Knight, I don't know if you asked for a reward. I don't think you did.
No, I did not ask for a reward. Like I didn't even have to think about it because I know that my character wouldn't have asked for a reward.
That's fair enough. Arrowfly, you received a upgrade to your crossbow. It is named and in your actions. Take a look at it.
Yeah, I
might have. Yep. And that goes the same for Liana and your reward, Vixie, which has got a named sword, which is in your actions. Please take a look; it is there. And for you, Ben, because what you asked for was for the crystallized chunk of ice to be removed in a way that it could be used for material instead of just melting it down. They have provided you with some pickaxe and some arms to take it apart and break it down into materials. You let me know what types you're trying to break that down into. You break it down into dust, or you just break it down into chunks. You're going to try and like sculpturally break it down into like hunks of well-refined ice blocks. What's the thought here?
Probably ice blocks for a nice freezer.
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, it's an ice that doesn't melt, so that is a totally good use for it. The only thing that will obviously destroy it is dispel magic or a counter magic, as in somebody, using fire magic.
I hope somebody's using fire magic in the freezer.
Well, you never know. Somebody might try to something out. Fire sword?
Have a
What?
fire sword. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
sword does fire damage. So technically, I can, but I'm not.
Yeah, and it is magical, so it could do so. So that's fine. Obviously, you'll have some help. So could you give me you're trying to use dexterity here to cut it into a specific shape. So I'm going to say a dex-based attack roll. So that would be a d20 plus 2. You do have blacksmithing specialization, so I'm going to say that you have at least the ability to use a pickaxe with some refinement, so you can add your proficiency bonus as well.
Can I just use my dagger hit since it's pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, that's fine.
It just counts as proficiency.
That's fine.
I figured it's
just like
easier on you since I don't actually have a pickaxe in inventory.
No, exactly. I was just explaining the process I'd like you to take. And you can roll that with advantage because you've got some help, and it'll kind of define high to low how well you manage to get these chunks out. Whilst he's doing that, you guys obviously will have an opportunity to peruse through the little encampment you're in. And obviously, there's sort of a feeling that comes to you when you look around. You notice that there are a few people who seem like their elvish skin is a bit darker, and there's a few people who seem to have some of their elvish ears be a little bit contorted or twisted. And some of the dragons, their scales are a little bit mattier, like their scales are closer. You know how matted hair is like stuff gets twisted and taut up and kind of becomes really tight. Imagine that, but with scales. So the scales have become much closer than you'd expect them to be in certain places. It almost looks uncomfortable for some of the dragons to move. There's definitely something that sort of altered them somehow, and they sort of, a lot of people are looking somewhat sick and uncomfortable. Beyond that, there's several tents gathered around, and this encampment's been sort of made up. Several trees have been contorted and twisted into makeshift huts for now, and seem to be places holding small armories. And obviously this is built off of the backside of a mountain, so ahead of you, where the largest sort of twisted tree is this towering mountain that you had to have come down and land on the other side of, and this is sort of meant to be like a canopy that's hiding this base for now. And obviously, as I said, the largest contorted tree, instead of being pulled down into this hut, it actually branches upwards and round into sort of a cocoon. This seems to be probably the central nervous system of this place. This is clearly where all of the people are going to talk, and you see a lot of people running messages up and down what seems to be a tree made, I don't know how else to say that, a staircase made out of trees. It's the only way I can really say it. It's sort of a hard one to describe, but you can imagine that the branches of the trees that are around the other larger cocoon-based tree have been kind of pulled into this makeshift staircase that seems quite sturdy, and people seem to be dashing up and down it with messages, items, and such. What would you guys like to be doing in the general area? Is there anything you want to explore? Anything you're looking to do specifically?
Yeah. I think well, I'll just walk around. Considering that this is a whole new area we've never been before, just like a look around, see exactly like a look at the sightseeing, I guess is the best word.
No, it's totally apt. Yeah, that's fine.
As a
You go
man
ahead.
of God, as a man of God, I would look around for, if possible, like religious places around.
Oh,
so I
it
can,
is absolutely slaved with religious
and
places.
see if I can learn any of the,
Please
what gods
make
are
me-
here.
Please make
And
me a
so-
religion roll as you see all of the iconography of the religions around you.
Yes,
know,
I am doing this in an attempt to see if there's
And you
do I
can
recognize
roll-
these gods?
You're a very religious person, so you can roll with advantage. Vixie, as you're looking around, you're very specifically perusing, and you're trying to kind of get an idea of the space around you. Can you give me a perception roll? Just kind of give me a degree on how much you really take in from around you. Ben, with the roll that you did, you managed to get yourself some very delicately, perfectly done chunks. They look very well done, and you can definitely use them to build sort of an igloo space to keep stuff frozen if you wanted to, or you could use them for other uses. You never know. You might be able to use it as a form of magical shield if you could find a way to attach metals to it without it causing problems. But yeah. Just before I continue to go on and describe what happens for Alphys and Vixie, Alphys and Liana, is there anything Arrowfly is doing in this area? Or is he just testing out the new weapon?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of killed my deal because I was gonna get them to chant my bow, but you kind of changed it.
That is your bow. Well, your crossbow, but what's wrong?
Well, okay. So what I meant was with the upgrade was I meant for them to upgrade that, but you kind of killed that idea a little. But I'll look around then, or see what to look around then.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I upgraded one of them. I just chose one from the list. It's the same for Vixie. She had multiple different weapons. I just chose one from the list. I didn't realize there was some you weren't using.
Oh shit! I just dropped like 10 things. It's all fine.
Okay. That's sort of a shame.
Hopefully,
And you're generally looking
I'm
around.
missing that crossbow.
I mean, for a general idea, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, Vixie, what were you saying there? I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah, I said just hopefully it wasn't a crossbow. Wouldn't want a arrow flying around.
What?
Most unfortunate.
She's hoping you haven't dropped a crossbow because you don't want an arrow flying around your house.
Oh.
All right.
Get some help.
Right. So obviously with Alphys, you will recognize many of the symbols and iconography here for the religions here. And there's something you'll notice. There is almost every single god you have ever known in the normal world. But there isn't the god of prosperity. There's no god of fear. I mean, no sane person worships the god of fear anyway. There's not the god of creation or crafts. There's not any of the newer formed religions and gods. Some of the ones that you think are staples that have existed for ages just don't seem to be around here. you can't exactly pinpoint when those ones would have started, but you can sure as hell know they're not here yet. It also sort of curious what type of god you follow specifically.
Did we actually sort that out?
I don't know if you did. Do you want to have a chance to look at the deity document and get back to me?
Sure.
Yeah, it just might.
Yeah.
Wait, I
Because
thought you
the,
were the one that doesn't like dead? Question mark. Or-
Yes, it's the one that doesn't like undead, but there's
Yeah.
a couple of those. So, like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
basically, most gods are probably not going to like undead. Not to say there's going to be ones that hate it. Not to say there's going to be ones that, you know, there is one of them that will damn you for it. One of them that will be disappointed for you for doing it. And there's one of them that just sort of won't care. It's part of their cycle. Everyone else kind of has a meh. Yeah, it's sort of there. Yeah, it's sort of annoying sometimes, but it doesn't really do much for me. You know, so it's like there's basically 3 sort of directions you could go if you're going hardcore, and then there's several directions you can go if you're kind of going, yeah, I want some dislike for this.
The plan is to go hardcore.
If you're going hardcore, that would be the goddess of life, as she is incredibly pissed off that people are refusing to go to her husband.
Okay. Yeah,
incredibly pissed off.
Yeah, because the reason why the Great Domain Clerics absolutely hate undead is because it, in their mind and ideology, rips people out of their afterlife.
It does. Yeah,
So,
of course, totally makes sense.
You murder the undead, you put the spirit forward.
No, of course, totally makes sense. Your spirit is the fuel for an undead spell, essentially. Whether you're pulling a spirit, a skeleton, or a zombie, the core component you need is that soul. An undead without a soul is more of a construct than anything else.
Yep.
Like, you know, you make a warforge without, obviously, the other thing that's in my game world that makes a warforge living. Although they still technically count as constructs from the point of view of the system. But yeah, that's by the by. Except for 1 feat, but that's sort of irrelevant. Go ahead, Dread.
Okay.
You're going to say something?
Okay, so gotcha. So pretty much a skeleton without a soul is a construct.
Yeah. It's not really. A soul is what makes it a normal type of undead. But there is also different ways that. So this is sort of a hard question. So we go from top to bottom here, right? We say we summon a undead with just magic. One, it has no sentience, it has no brain, and you're pretty much going to need to pilot all the time. This is probably the lowest level of resurrection magic anyway. Then you have the next level where you're pulling in creatures that are able to do multiple things, that are very strong and are powerful and kind of be useful. And these are ones that have got souls, because the souls are essentially powering the magic and the thought. And there's one other stage that I wanted to state. Then there's one that isn't controlled by you, has sentience, has its soul. That's some will sit somewhere in between undead and living. That's the reborn. That's the skeletons from the city of Immaterial. It's the one vampire that exists in this game world. It's most liches actually. And you know, they are undead adjacent. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, you know, obviously, depending on their demeanor, most of them can probably be accepted as, yeah, okay, you're not causing too much problem. You've not pulled somebody else's soul. Whereas a lich, who's constantly pulling souls to cast magic, yeah, fucking smite that asshole, turn him into ash. You know? Exactly. So, yeah, you sort of understand the distinctional difference that I set on it, at least.
Yeah, but with the information and the curiosity, because from, you know, our time, I'm more used to seeing a single church devoted to a single god.
Yes, yep.
I look around to see if I can find someone to ask about this.
Of course, no problem. I'll do that in just a moment. I'm just going to go through the observations that Vixie and Dread have just very quickly, and then we'll come back around to that. So, Vixie, as you're going around and looking around the area, you observe multiple different groups of martial artists, and, well, I want to use the word fighters, but their fighting is very hard based in forms of martial arts. They use a lot of styles that most of the time uses forearms, hands, and occasionally pulls out a dagger or a sword to deal a finishing blow after using a form of martial arts to get in close and nice nicely nasty. Fuck, I swear I can speak. And so it seems their form is sort of an amalgamation between martial arts and traditional sword fighting that you've seen, but it's not quite what you'd expect. It is definitely different. Or almost like you've taken, 5 levels in monk and 2 or 3 levels in fighter, basically. It's also a monk that are allowed to use weapons, but that's this isn't what they literally are. This is just to give you more of an image of what you're seeing around you. Obviously, alongside that, you'll notice the same thing that Alphas does. There is a lot of religious symbols and what's the word? There seems to be a lot of I'm trying to think of another word for this. I can't think of another word. There's a lot of dividends. There's a lot of dedication to religion in these people. In between doing what they're doing task wise, they seem to take almost a moment when they can to try and sort of pay forwards to the gods. Obviously, also the other thing that sort of goes around as you're sort of walking around, I assume, and looking at things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. That's good. Then you'll notice that obviously it is very much segmented out into different spaces. The people who are closest to the wall are your artisans, your civilians, the military leaders. You come further and further out. There's armories. There is some of the battlements and some of the preparations to push forwards that are further back. It almost seems they're very deliberately defensing themselves using this mountain. They seem to have a confidence that this mountain will at least protect the civilians best in this scenario. Is there any sort of other information you're looking for specifically beyond what I have described?
I don't actually think, because that's I guess what you would expect from a just going around, not particularly going after something, because just out here to see what there is.
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Dread, you'll notice many of the similar details. Arrowfly will be able to use his sharp and keen eyesight to sort of look at these things from a distance without interfering with people if he wishes to. And you'll notice a lot of groups walking around with paperworks. And whilst you're noticing people walk around with these paperworks, you sort of take an interest, and you'll notice a few maps that just don't seem right. Even just from the small corners you see, they look completely wrong. And you don't quite know what's going on with that. That's something that sort of might pique an interest in you, but it's completely different to what you've seen before. Especially as somebody who used to work for you've seen the world map 100 times. You've navigated it on several ships, and yet that just does not look right. Alongside that, you'll notice, obviously, there seems to be this sort of timidness around a lot of people when they're going anywhere near the dragon's sort of space. There seems to be this very heavy dominance that they seem to put out, despite the fact that a lot of them seem to be, at least as you can tell without really making a specific insight roll, they seem to be putting out this sort of empathetic, nice vibe. Everyone seems to stay deathly away from them or is very, very scared around them. There is only a very select few who do not show this level of fear when they're near the dragons. Obviously, if you have a little think, and if there's anything else you're specifically searching for, let me know in just a minute. I'm going to just quickly go round to Alphas. Actually, Vombid, are you doing anything specific right now? Because I'll just give you a quick check-in.
I mean, it's going to take time to take apart that ice.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if there was anything you wanted to take a curiosity in whilst you were doing so. It's not impossible for you to be looking around whilst you're chiseling, but that's fine.
No, I'm too focused in my work.
Well, then obviously,
I'm making art. I'm not making ice.
You're making art, is it? Right. Okay. So, what is Alphys's approach to trying to get this information he'd like? Is you going to look? Well, I could spit out ideas, but I'll just see if you've got any first before I spit out ideas.
I'll just kind of kindly go and see if I can ask someone very peacefully in a sense.
That's fine. I thought you might have specific people you might try and go and speak to. You'll be able to.
Someone who is like
yeah.
obviously, like someone who seems to be obviously like religious. I think like.
So with the space around you, and this is just a first caveat to the second thing I'll say. It seems that everyone is. There is a very high emphasis on religion here, and to be more specific, multi-deical religion. They believe in worshipping all of the ones that exist, not just one or another.
Hello.
Oh my god, he's here.
I thought they went start late.
8?
That's what it says here. Start
Where?
at 8 p.m. GMT.
Where?
Right, like in the scheduling.
Scheduling?
There is just a
it's-
hearing.
It is horribly out of date though, but to be fair.
Yeah, that might have been one specific. I don't know which one that would have been.
Yeah,
anyway.
I never check anything. I just saw scheduling, said, oh, that's a different one. Okay. Today. I looked at the
Yeah,
wrong one.
I didn't put anything today because it was going on the default, and I thought you'd be here about past, which you were. So I mean, it's fine. I sort of like expected a little bit of leeway for yourselves.
Yeah.
I can't look at that. I can actually. I have a phone.
With this, with everyone seemingly being religious,
one moment. I did say it was a double caveat. Was that you will be able to find a priest, and you'll be able to identify them as a priest because they will be dedicatedly stood at this sort of location and will be sort of receiving people when they come in. Not receiving people because it's an open space, but you understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Looking excited when they see little children.
Of course, sure. I'm going to point out this is the elves, and they are very, very serious, and hopefully not doing that.
I approach this priest, and in Elvish, very calmly, I just say, "Excuse me, I have a couple of questions.
Welcome.
If you don't mind."
Yeah, no problem. Welcome, life worshipper. How can I help you?
Well, I assume you've heard our. Actually, hold on. Before I double back, do people know that we are from the future? Like, is it something that is only kept between? Is it only that's kept between the few people, or like, does everyone know we are from the future?
You haven't said so. I don't think you've actually said so yet. No, you did. You said it to one. You said it to two people. I'm going to roll 2d20s. High, they're keeping it to themselves. Low, they've told people. Because honestly, like, there's not like this is mainly based on two people's personal choices. And in a second, I'll go and recap.
Yeah, like, do they believe us? Like, we have all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just going to roll those two. No, neither of them have told anyone, and they said they're going to keep it very hush-hush. There's one of them that seems to be maybe a little bit more slacky. Also, why was that the fucking 20 I rolled today?
Okay, well...
I'm not going to get another 20.
With
Sorry.
That new...
I'm going to take just half a second just to very quickly bring, obviously, any other viewers that have come in and Jim up to scratch quickly. So obviously you guys got dropped into the past. And when you dropped into the past, you opened up to this space where there was elves on dragons being chased by some fairly powerful hags. It looked like they'd already been in sort of a long fight. The party decided to intervene and take out the hags, and also restore the dragon rider to health because they had actually been knocked to 0. And in reward, they took you to their camp. And this is sort of what's going on here is the first, day or so in the camp. Well, technically, actually, probably be a little bit longer because a few people got rewards for helping out the destruction of the hags. So obviously, that would have taken a couple of days to get some of those rewards. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they're hags. They'll be back.
Oh, I'm sure. But the other thing that happened, which is sort of maybe slightly more personal or major to you, is that your ship was hit by a massive chunk of ice that can't melt. But Ben has taken it, or Ben's character, so Von Ben has taken it on himself to chisel that out and take it into slabs of ice to use for Well, I'll let Ben say what his plans are for those, because I believe
A
he said he has.
freezer, currently.
That can make some all sorts of interesting uses.
Yeah, so as Ben just said, he was thinking about a freezer.
I mean, there's plenty for a freezer and then some extra, probably.
Oh, there is.
Great idea, actually. Yeah.
It's a 5 foot
Potentially.
square that it took up when it hit the ship, which, by the way, you'll have a hole of about 5 foot, and unless you have extra living wood, which would be back in Aglas in the future, need to find another way to mend it. Obviously, you can repeatedly cast the mending spell. It'll just take a little bit of time to do. So, technically you can fix it, but I'd just say, like,
Is it mending or is it cure wounds?
oh, don't do this to me.
Oh.
It is living wood, isn't it?
Dealer's choice.
And also something I was going to bring up.
Yeah, it might be. It is both, so maybe both would work in that rare.
Maybe
instance.
well, you'll have to try it out and see what happens.
Also,
Go ahead.
Also, this is like another question on this. Mending doesn't like restore magic to an item. So, like, is the wood like considered one giant chunk that is repaired, so it actually keeps its magic?
Ooh, well then no, it'd
Like-
have to be cure wounds because it'd be a living creature. It's like the ship combined is a living creature that can have the spell float cast on it. So
because
The thing is, you use mending on a golem, say for example, but that can be it's a construct, but it's still like living. So for example, like what the hell are they called? Warforge. I'm pretty sure cure wounds didn't.
yeah,
I
you
don't know
can't
if
use
it
it on there.
Didn't.
But yeah,
Cure
like
wounds didn't work on Warforge. You had to use mending,
No.
but they might
No,
change
you
that
can.
in 5.
No, you
but yeah, well,
can't
like,
use it on
what I
Warforge.
but yeah, like what I mean is like if like a magical ring like breaks off a little bit and loses its magic, you can
Yeah.
repair the ring, but it
The ring
doesn't get
doesn't
that
have
magic
magic.
back anymore. If the magic is still in the ring, even though it's cracked, you can repair it and it'll be fine, no
Well,
problem.
that's sort of an awkward one because the wood itself isn't magical. The wood itself is living, and then somebody has cast the spell float
Can I
on it, or enchanted the spell float. Sorry.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Like, but yes, it's a difficult one. I don't know.
It's only a 5 foot hole in your deck anyway. It's not like it's
Yeah,
going
I'm
to stop the
thinking
boat
like
from
if
moving.
like a whole plank was like destroyed or multiple planks destroyed, then I could see where you're coming from because they're separate like chunks of this wood.
Yeah.
But it's only like a bit of a hole in like 3 or 4 planks. The planks are still mostly whole, so I'd imagine that you'd repair them and the magic would like seep back in. I don't know. That's the way I would.
It's not an unreasonable argument, and I think that's sort of actually what Knight was saying, was that if it had broken enough for the magic to fall out, then I think I'd agree with Knight if it had. But in this scenario, it is 5 foot on a small space. I think I might even still have the map, but it's not enough, I would say, to warrant it this time. But it may be something worth considering for the future if you could prevent it or have extra planks, maybe.
I mean, the other thing to remember is that the main vast majority of the ship isn't actually made from the fancy wood. It's like the bone structure, the skeletal structure of the ship is made from the really fancy magical bone, and the rest of it is just like wood.
Yeah, so it's the core bone round the bottom and the bottom of the hull, because that's where the spell is cast to allow it to do what it does.
If I remember rightly, it wasn't the whole ship. We didn't have enough to build an entire ship out of the stuff. So
no, that would not impossible, but you'd probably have to go to war for it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. What we were given wasn't enough to make a whole ship out of it, but if we used it as like the basic like the frame for the boat and then used regular wood to fill the spaces. So
anyway,
quite likely that maybe the hole is actually just in one of the regular bits of wood.
Oh, it definitely is, because it's on the deck, as I already said. Like, it's on the like where they were fighting, which is on the deck. Which is why I said like it's also largely irrelevant, because it's not something that's going to all of a sudden make the ship drop out of the sky. Otherwise, you drop out of the sky in that combat, not now. It's like, so it's largely irrelevant. I sort of already made my choice on at least whether it would drop out of the sky or not.
Right.
But then you came here, they got rewarded.
Where is here?
Yes, nobody has a map yet, so nobody knows. But taking a guess, you were at the Nexus Island. You travelled what could be assumed to be about half a day's journey to the next nearest island you could see, with a large mountainside that you flew around and parked behind. On your estimations, on your maps, you are where I have just pinged, but that is on your maps. And obviously, yeah.
Well, being a chronomancer, I have an amazingly ability to judge time. So, given enough time and looking at the stars, would I not be able to work out when and where we are?
Oh, they've already worked. Well, I mean, it's the Shadowfey War, and there was somebody who made a history roll to kind of know when we are already. But you can do so as well. And
Well, if
yes,
someone's
it's
already
not going to
worked
be.
out roughly when we are, then I can work out where we are because, in theory, I'd be able to use my innate knowledge of time to be able to work out where the stars should be. In theory. Maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you can work out where you are, and you guys do sort of know where you are relative to where. How do I put this?
I think we're on the same planet still. I don't know.
Yeah, you're on the same planet. You're on the same space that you were on. You went from the Nexus, where you were pulled through or sent out from the future to the past, and you can track where you are like you normally would on your map. But that's your map. Unless you have an old copy of the world map, you'll know where you are in relative to the future.
How much? Yeah, but how much history? It's not. It's not that far back in the past in real terms, is it? It's a couple of thousand years or something.
It's 1,200.
Yeah, that's like
90.
in. Well, I guess magic can make things different, but in the scheme
There
of
we
things,
go.
that's.
Sorry, go on.
I would say yeah. Except for magic being able to make things do all sorts of weird, funky stuff. In theory, 1,000 years is like in a blink of an eye. It's not the geography wouldn't change that much, but
No.
magic. So, so yeah.
So
And if there's a Fey war, then there's all sorts of crazy magic going off everywhere. So
exactly, let alone the other war that happens at some point in time.
Some point.
right, it doesn't happen in a point of time. That's kind of the weirdness
Well,
about
yeah, you know what I mean. The end of the war happens in a point of time. So, returning back to the conversation that night you were having with the Elvish priest.
Yeah, well, with the knowledge that they said that they would not talk to people, I also respect their wish to not tell people.
Mhm.
And I look at the priest and I go, from where I come from, there is often dedicated spots to its gods, so it's very curious and fascinating to me to see such an open space. How do you manage and like an area like this? Are there like people who pray to different gods and like argue about things?
What is there to argue about? We are
Well,
the children of gods. There's no need for us to argue. We were all created,
well,
one and all, as celestial beings.
uh,
We're all the same
also,
here.
my quarterstaff has visibly the mark of my god, which we talked,
Yes.
the god of lives, mark on it. Like
Yeah,
my
she did
holy
say-
symbol is on my quarterstaff.
She did say when you came up to talk to her, she said, "How are you doing, life worshipper?"
Yeah.
It's like that's how she greeted you. So like she
Yeah.
has taken that into account. Oh, I have.
is this where we are? No.
No, this one over here is you. I'll focus ping it again. Yes, yeah, that one there.
Well, there are gods that don't like each other, which is natural, but from where I come from, that creates conflict between followers. And
Gods
that
who don't like
needs
each
solving.
other are not gods that should be followed, and that's not out of malice or, I guess, anything else. It's mostly out of logic. We shouldn't worship the god of fear. The moment he hears our whispers, he would be in our brains, rooted like a festering wound that would tear at our mental sanity.
But am I here,
Seems-
by the way, just being quiet or what?
We'd be around. Obviously, people have gone around their own things and sort of walking about. It doesn't mean that it would be impossible for you to hear this conversation. You'd be more than
Yeah, no, I'm just
if you
curious
know
what's going on.
Elvish.
That was I wasn't I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if we were together as a group or doing our own thing
No,
or what.
our
So,
own things at the moment.
Yeah. People have decided to go off and do their own things mostly at the moment. I gave people the option. That's what they've decided to do for a moment. But yes, I'll
That's
yeah.
okay.
Obviously, if you want to have like a little think about what you'd like to do, and if you pop it into the Roll20 chat, I can take a look at that whilst I'm having the conversation with Knight, and I can do that if that's okay. If you've got curiosities, Knight, sorry, go on.
No, I was waiting on you.
Was it?
When,
So
you had like a sentence ongoing.
That's fine. She had basically explained that it wouldn't be sensible to follow a god of fear. So yes, there are some that we don't follow out of sensibility. It would be idiotic, and I can't think of any other word. It would be idiotic to follow a precursor. There are some precursors who are amenable, but there are several of them that are not. There are some who take an interest in, the deity of the sea and the goddess of the sea, and there's people who take interest in the goddess of the land, but they're precursors. It would be a horrible idea to follow them, as elves are far more sensible than that.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you. It is pretty interesting.
Obviously, if you'd like to give me another religion roll, this one would be not at a disadvantage, but wouldn't be at an advantage. It would just be a solid roll.
A solid roll?
Yeah.
A 14.
And it gave me a history roll to go alongside that as well, please.
Sure. My history is a lot worse, but oh my god, I know nothing.
Yeah, okay. So, you would have heard the word precursor before. You're not too sure what it's been used to refer to technically, but you've heard it a few times. Yeah. Okay. There's also something else worth noting because you know Elvish. When they use the word precursor, if you were to actually translate it from the Elvish word, it almost means the original sins, essentially. If it were to be translated into nowadays common. Or maybe original sinners would be another connotation.
Yeah,
Have we had a long rest, by the way?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Yes. I give a nod, thank the priest for this interesting conversation, and I turn to give a prayer to the god of life.
No problem. That is more than
for
possible.
taking out all my instance blocks and everything, and getting everything set up.
Give me a religion. No. How are you doing this as a performance? Are you trying to appease her? Is it persuasion? Are you trying to? You're probably not trying to deceive her, but just give me a sort of an idea of what you're trying to do here, because there is a role that I'd like to calculate something off of.
Just a general prayer of like thanking and more like appreciation.
Standard performance. You're basically just trying to do it with the best dedication and rhythm that you're used to. And don't get me wrong, you can't fail this. Just I mean, that's fine anyway. You wouldn't.
That one. You may have failed it.
No. I clearly state this is not one you can fail. But you will have been loud enough to pique some interest from something. You'll feel almost what could be perceived as a hand, but it couldn't be. And you go to turn around to look at what's there, and it seems to be nothing.
The god of life is like, what the hell are you doing here? You're supposed to this in the year 2000, not this year.
That's okay.
For fuck's sake.
How
would a god react to like me going in the past and giving a prayer from the past to the god I have prayed to in the future?
What do you think that role was for?
I'd imagine gods wouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, like, aren't they technically omnipotent where they know that? Okay.
As strong as they may be, they're not all knowing. Otherwise, there are several things that shouldn't have happened in this game.
I mean,
Okay, I mean,
Go on.
so basically, I'm omniscient. I don't mean omniscient. They just know that a war is going to break out, but they don't know who
Yeah,
causes it, more or
they're
less.
mostly all-knowing.
Yeah, I mean,
If you want me to be honest, in my pantheon, yes, there is a group of people who know exactly when a war's going to break out. They're the goddesses of time. They're called the Trine Moons. They're also probably the only people who know exactly when a war's going to break out, other than, I said, the god of war, who can be a really good judge because he can see tensions rising because it's literally his domain.
Funny.
But, like, beyond that, they are the only people who know everything that should, would, or could happen. Because one is a deity of the future, one is the deity of the past, one is a deity of the present, or more rightly, a deity of the in-between, because they exist to be communicated with, whereas the other two completely hide themselves. They are...
That sounds like...
Not to
That-
everyone.
That
well,
sounds like Greek mythology right there.
what it is
and
that
al-
they...
and also, like, is your pantheon similar to like normal D&D? I'm actually just curious about this because in
No,
normal
not even
D&D,
close.
like gods can die, which is
Oh, yes, no, gods can die. Don't get me
Very
wrong. Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. So the way they work is the same as D&D, but it's not the same as D&C. So their power comes from, or at least, so sort of a hard thing to explain. Precursors are more akin to old ones. They exist based on their own power. They can't be stripped of all of their power, but you strip them of their worshippers, yes, they will be weaker.
Yeah, I get what you mean. They're like elemental powers, like fear. Fear is always going to be there because fear is a thing.
Exactly. You might not worship fear, but it's always going to
Death.
be there. Light,
Life.
darkness, death, life. I'm not going to like. These are core ideas, things that.
To be fair, you
Yeah,
could
go
get rid of them, but it'd be pretty
You-
final if you did.
what you can do is, and this is what I'm saying. They're not immortal. It's just their powers aren't strippable. You can't make them mortal or completely mortal. Sorry, by taking away their followers or taking away their concept.
No.
Whereas
you have to end all time and existence.
maybe not that far, but maybe close. But for example,
it.
killing the god of prosperity, destroy all prosperity, has no followers. He has no power. Obviously, that's one that's very hard to do. A better example would be stopping a war, all war, that would essentially null and void the power of the god of war. But it's sort of one of those,
Yeah. No, I was like curious because like one of my favorite like D&D history things is like Helm, one of my favorite gods, just absolutely killing the god of magic, Mystra.
Yes, is actually also the only god who retained his power during the Tablet of Fate incident.
Yes,
or
and became the protector for the gate.
Yeah, yes, he did. And that's obviously, for anyone who's curious, who doesn't know that, basically the god Bane, and I can't remember who the other one is, stole the Tablet of Fate thinking that it held Ao's power. Ao is the overgod, the creator of the sphere that Faerun and I think somewhere else exists in. And they thought it holds Ao's power. Obviously, Ao, annoyed, convenes the gods and demands that somebody comes forwards and obviously tells him who's done this. Nobody does. All gods are cast out and banished to be mortal, bar Helm, who obviously, as we've just said, was left to defend the mountain and the gateway to... I don't know if it's actually technically called Olympus or if it's just called something else. I can't quite remember, actually. I know Olympus does exist in one of the D&D worlds, but yeah, basically Olympus. He protects that gate. It's not called Olympus. It's probably got a different name, but that's by the by.
That's a placeholder.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Shred. Best way to put it. And so after a very long time where several gods, or not gods anymore as they're essentially mortal, die or gets replaced and stuff like that, a group of mortals collected the Tablet of Fate and return it back to Ao. Ao crushes it into dust, destroying the known reality and merging two planets, because that's what the Tablet of Fate, not only does it hold the deities and all their powers and stuff, but it also stops from two worlds from literally colliding with each other. And he just destroys it, turns it to dust. I think it's about 300 years later, he recreates the Tablet of Fate with those that would be. I think the group's called an inclusive group of gods. It's people that are sensible and not going to try and do the same shit again. Although, for some reason, I believe Bane is still included in that pantheon for some reason.
What?
Yeah. And yeah, obviously then the tablet is remade and everything goes back to normal. Well, normal-ish.
Yeah. My favorite part of this is just the description of how Mystra dies, which is Mystra tries to go past Helm. Helm just says, "No, you do not have the tablets. You're not going. This is your last warning." Mystra goes absolutely crazy and just splings magic and spells at him. And he just holds her off with one hand, raises his visor, and Mystra just lets out a scream that can be heard like across the entire universe as she just sees her death in his eyes, in his gaze. And then with a single punch explodes her.
Brutal. But yeah, so
Yeah, poor Mystra. Normally she's more powerful than any other god, but not in that instance.
no way.
Yep.
Yeah. No, but exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened there, because she is used to being like, well, I control magic, which basically means you can't do anything to me because I'm the goddess of magic.
Yeah. It's also obviously the reason why she eventually gets, or not eventually, it's not like a replacement, but there is another deity of magic that is created just because obviously it has to be you know when the pantheon is remade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mystra still exists, but yeah, it's a different person.
It's a different person who embodies Mystra.
Yeah.
It's essentially a reincarnation, but not
Midnight.
because they hold. Is it Midnight's the name? That's cool.
Yeah. She was immortal.
But yeah, so
And bizarrely friends with like two other people that ended up replacing other gods as well. Well, I say friends, adventurers that she travelled with.
is it not the same group who went and retrieved the Tablet of Fate? Or am I wrong about that? Yeah. So is there? Sorry, I think we kind of got off track talking about deities and how they specifically work for my universe. For one, was there any other questions about that? Or
we went on the rant from like my character like feeling a hand on his shoulder when going on a prayer.
Yeah, that was the last thing. Thank you. So obviously, is there anything you'd like to be doing, Jim? Specifically,
Yeah,
because he hasn't had an opportunity yet.
I'm just trying to remember what actually happened. Sorry.
Which part?
I know we're in the past, but I can't quite remember how we got there.
Oh, that's fine. I can go over that. So basically, you'd gone to investigate the Nexus, which was a tower made of obsidian. Made out of obsidian.
Yeah.
And as you were leaving, despite your very good roll, there was an attack that came flying at you. You managed to dodge it, or more rightly, if I recall correctly, your ship from the future came from the past and blocked the hit and then sent you into a time tunnel going to the past.
Right.
And then obviously that's where the rest of this happened. Is that all good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything you'd like to be doing in this small... I say small. It's not small. Is there anything you'd like to be doing in this elvish encampment?
Probably not.
Probably not. No. Fair enough. Well, obviously, beyond that, is there anything anybody else is doing right now beyond perusing and sort of taking in the area?
Well, we bought a map, so maybe the map, so maybe I can. Well, how dare you point me out first off? And I guess I'll attempt to look at them
No
from
problem.
a distance or close, either way.
It's not like they're exactly shielding the maps, but you can do so. What would be more of the challenge is taking down the map and recording it, or you could essentially ask for one. That's up to you, which approach you'd like to do, whether you think your artistic skills are good enough to copy the map so that your party has one, or would you like to try and request one?
So first I'll attempt to look at it, just in the chance to remember it, just in all chance it does fail.
Okay, well then what I'm going to do here is I need to find you and put you over there. That is what it looks like. Is that the right person? Pretty sure it's the right person.
Yes.
The right person. Yeah, that is what you see.
Okay, so I attempt to remember it, so I guess it's intelligence roll.
Yes. In fact, I would give me a second. Is there actually one for memory-based stuff? I don't think there really is there?
That'll be technically intelligence, I think.
Oh no, I mean the stat would definitely be intelligence. I don't know whether there's something for recalling details, like as in taking details down into your memory. So I would just call it an intelligence. Oh, go ahead. Are you going to make a suggestion?
Yeah, the certain backgrounds actually give you like bonuses on that
Bonuses
sort of
to do
thing.
that.
But I don't think,
Right.
yeah, but I don't think there's any attributes that do
That's
that.
all good.
There might even be a feat that does something a bit like that as well, but I can't remember which one it is.
But yes, technically there is, but I don't know it.
That's all good. If you just like to give me an intelligence roll, just kind of give me an idea of how much you're able to retain and how well you can take this down.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's not bad. You'll manage to retain a good bit of detail. Do you want to try and to put that down, or do you want to try and maybe try and direct somebody else to draw it? What do you think? Do you think your art skills are good enough to put that down?
Okay, so after that, I tried to get a copy. Try to get one of those maps. Like I said, just
Okay.
an odd chance.
That's fine.
Insurance
Yeah.
policy.
So retain it in your head on the off chance you lose the map or something like that. That's good. Make a note of that so that you have it for later.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, are you trying to deceive somebody? Are you trying to persuade them? Are you just going to go out and ask? What's what's the plan here?
Might say just ask.
Yeah, that's fine. Who are you going to go to for this? Obviously, I've explained sort of the area around you, so there seems to be multiple different areas you might be able to go to ask somebody for an app. An app?
An app.
A map.
Hey, yo, dog, what's that app?
Do you want to develop an app?
No, we don't want to develop an app.
But no, well, I would say, what places have the maps that I saw since I walked around?
Honestly, there
ideally?
seems to be people walking back and forth to multiple different areas. Mainly, it's going to be the cocoon at the back, or it's going to be the diplomatic areas that are to the side of that, mostly. I'd say diplomatic, sorry, artisans and civilians, from what you can tell.
I guess I'll attempt. Maybe I'll attempt the diplomat because the maps may have more.
So you're going to go to... Yeah, that's fine. That's all good. Well, going in there, you'll be presented by several people that seem to be poring over much more closer maps, things that seem to be almost scribbled by people who have been scouting as they've been going around, and they sort of seem to be trying to... Yeah, go ahead.
What to get intelligence, like
Of course.
to remember, like the not the basic, there's a dragon here, but more or less, anything that stands out in the scribbles.
Yeah, you're trying to kind of see if you can understand it. You don't have Elvish specifically, so it will actually be a little bit harder to try and understand their scribbles, which means that will be at the disadvantage. I do apologize, but that is sort of the challenge you're facing here with not being somebody who speaks the language.
Yeah. Fucking nope.
No, there isn't a second roll needed. Oh, it's fucking gibberish. Oh, I don't even fucking speak a language. What the fuck is this bullshit?
What the fuck are they saying?
Anyway, so I guess ask for a map then.
They sort of listen to your common for a moment and kind of go, huh? Yeah. They seem to look around at multiple different people, and then they seem to sort of pull this, what you would assume at first is a half-elf, but it's not like any half-elf you've ever seen. They sort of just kind of push it your direction and go, yeah, and he'll sort of speak to you in this broken, very old, and you can tell it's the speech patterns, it's the way they say things is very old, but it's sort of common. Map you want?
Yes.
Why want you map?
We just came. I just got. Okay. Silence. I would shake all of you.
Stop for a second. Anyways, give me a sec.
Anyways, I just got here, so common sense will be a map.
common sense. Bird sense?
Well,
Birds have sense?
I just got here, so a map would be helpful, so I don't get lost.
Oh, help! Us help bird.
No, map, so I don't get lost at all.
Yes. Us help bird map.
Yes.
Do I see any of this?
Give me a perception roll. You might be somewhere sort of near because you had gone to the civilian area for the worshipping space. Skin for map. Map skin.
Nope. You see. Oh, wait. Yeah, you see.
Oh, he sees. He can see this interaction.
You see everything.
I see God. Well, actually,
God
to be honest,
sees you. No, God sees you. Get it right.
Yeah. But yeah, map
As
skin.
the two of them just.
I guess he sees this and comes up. I guess.
I'm
it
just
depends
kind
on
of like
whether he
staring. I'm staring
He's
at it like
staring.
for a moment, just like, what? Is it like map me map me? Yes. And he, like, as I walk up and I go, is something the problem?
Are you still in common or Elvish?
I'm saying that in common because I'm speaking
common?
to my fellow.
Oh, you're speaking to him? Yeah, that's fine. Then I'll step out for a second because he'll still be stood there miming at skin.
Yeah.
Well, it's simple. I need a map for future. I tell him I need a map for future references and all that, of course.
I kind of like, okay, and I turn to this half elf and I speak in Elvish and I just go, my friend here is looking for a map so we can get a better idea of where we are.
Ah, it's like your bird wants a map, right? Well, I mean, we had sort of gotten that mostly, and I was saying we needed skin to do the map because I mean we don't just have resources lying around. But I don't think the Slackjaw got it, so you know.
Oh.
Slackjaw. I'm not actually saying that, but well, is there a way I could help to find the skin for you too?
There's a forest behind here. Go look. I don't need to be a guide for everything, do I?
I turn to
me, I guess.
Yeah, I turn to you and I just go, so, well, we need to find a map, it seems. Well, we need to find a map. Fucking Dora the Explorer, just like, where's the map?
Map!
So,
Can you help
it looks like they need a skin to make a map.
Oh, anyways.
So, well, I would say we go and see if we can find some, hunt an animal or something.
Okay, that's cool. That's good. I need you for something else. So like I said, so last section, I asked the guy for a blacksmith he recommended, and he pointed me towards one.
He did indeed.
One he recommended.
There was one that was suggested. Well, are you going to get dragged along? Are you going to refuse?
I guess at this point, like, I should be a translator.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, go and have that interaction. What are you looking to get from him? Because I'm not going to go back and forth in a long conversation to work that out. What are you looking to get from him?
So pretty much like I said last time, I wanted a enchantment or a weapon upgrade that doesn't exist in our time.
Yep, and you've got that.
Oh, okay.
The bow. Or
okay.
crossbow, sorry. That does not exist in that time.
Oh, okay.
Not like that.
Oh, okay then. So since I have Krakenheim, maybe he can make armor or.
It's a good suggestion.
Wow,
if you
just letting me die over here, what the fuck? I'm a blacksmith for a reason, motherfucker.
Well, I know. Well, yes, I know, but yes. Well, yes, I know.
What the fuck?
Can I get
trying to pawn my job off of off to the fucking civvies? Fuck.
Well, I'm not saying it's civvy. Well,
it is another blacksmith. He's not just giving it to a civvy.
Yeah, well, and based on just that, like, Dragonwire suggested it. So, he's probably really good blacksmith.
wrong.
I have a
Yeah.
cunning plan.
I feel concerned about that. Yes, you will be able to leave him with the Kraken hide, and he will take some time to sort of investigate it, look at it, and give it probably about a session or two, and there may be something for you. I'm going to roll a chance, see how long it takes to work. Yep.
We're in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just
So-
casually dropped Kraken skin on someone.
Yeah, I know. I'm keeping a record of all of this. Continue.
So, what we could do is we could go to the destination of where said tower will be in the future and lay in the ground the means of its destruction.
Small problem with that. The tower's currently there and active, and there's something weird, spooky going on with it. I'm not sure what. I don't speak Elvish.
Well,
So
I
it
mean,
exists both here and.
Active.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not been
yeah,
built.
because-
It's already built and active.
yeah. But by the way, and pretty much and pretty much when I
We
and
need to
pretty
go
much when
further back.
I'm not there. So pretty much when I talked to the blacksmith, I said I give him, well, most likely, I'm gonna opt you and say our gold is useless here, right? More or less.
Gold is gold is gold. It just get melted down. The value might be different, but the whole reason why gold is a staple of anything in reality, let alone fantasy, is that gold has a literal value in weight. It can be melted down for its weight in gold. That's obviously what the phrase comes from, is its weight in gold.
Okay. Well, because I know that works something, I say. So I basically asked him to tell him, how about we keep this on the down low, so the Kraken hide doesn't get know that there's crack material around here. Does that sound even?
One moment. Say, cost you 5 gold.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you have asked them to do so, and obviously, if you hand over the gold without any sort of challenge or anything, they will continue to sort of have a look of, yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. So
yes, and after that, I guess we go hunting for the skin for the map then.
No problem. It sort of sounded like, I mean, to be honest, you guys have hunted multiple things, let alone, the several things that attacked you whilst you were flying. I'm pretty sure you have. Technically have flying cat hide. If you wanted to use it.
That's pushing it, though, but.
Why is that pushing it?
For a map?
You genuinely killed flying cat. You realized the flying cats were giant, right?
Yeah, but, they didn't fall on our ship. They kind of fell off.
Oh, shit, no, they did. No, forget that. Yeah, no, they did fall into the sea. I forgot. You almost deliberately killed them so that they would fall into the water. Yeah, okay, no, fair enough. I did forget about that.
Don't we have, if I can find it real quick.
I mean, you have Kraken hide.
Don't we have Blazeback skin, technically?
I don't think we used that, didn't we?
You used the lungs. I don't think you used the skin, did you? Oh, no, you used the scales. So you would still have the skin it was attached to. So I don't know.
I say we use that, technically. I mean, but then again, I'm not sure how much skin we're going to use up.
With the map. It also depends on how much you collected, which I remember you collected enough for each. We'll call it possible, because I mean, besides that, you going and hunting down an animal isn't actually going to take that long for you, as you are a party of 5 plus, any of your crew, and incredibly effective in, this time. A lot of what you'll see are creatures that are much more evolved. It's almost like things have de-evolved as it's come more and more to the modern day. There will be creatures that are much more close to celestial creatures, and the term mythical for us, so mythical creatures around you. and you'll be able to collect some form of hide from one of those without too much difficulty if you all sort of kind of help each other out. And with that, you'll be able to come back and create a map. Are you showing everyone this map?
Yeah, I guess.
Not a problem. Well, then you will be treated all one and all for that. Also,
So are there so on this map is there landmarks of this is our base or something like that?
The Elvish people would have put bookmarks, however, the DM has not because he made this like
yesterday.
Yeah, 20 minutes before the session.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll be curious to try and find out some information in that case. I didn't realize the tower was here because you kind of didn't mention that.
It was mentioned.
I said you came from the Nexus. Sorry, the tower is the.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't name it last time you were here. I mean, I had named it, but I don't think maybe I didn't say it.
Yeah.
No, I did say it, but I didn't say it in the session you were here. I said it because it was literally the elves who told them what the name was. That is my bad completely. Yeah, you're not at the tower. You're near it. You're still probably about a day or so away.
How long's the tower been there?
Are you asking somebody this? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was built by the Shadow. Well, it was built by the Fae, and then when the Shadow Fae returned, it was used by them. So I couldn't say that forever because it's not really forever, but a really long time. No.
So the tower's always been there, and so.
Well, always is not quite right. It's been here a chunk of time that the Fae were.
Yeah. So it's being so back in our timeline, it's been repurposed by, not created by.
Yes, yeah. It was. Well, if you're asking somebody this, they're going to say, well, hopefully it was destroyed, and I guess somebody had to remake it. That's our intent, is to destroy it. That line goes through Douglas.
They'll actually said actually thinking maybe one of us can draw what it looks like back now, so they can see if there's anything really different.
You could do.
I'm talking to them to see what they think.
Oh.
Off, so.
So that was a question to Jim. Obviously, yeah, that's a question to you, Jim. So.
Else, pretty much.
Oh yeah, so the party.
So what if we actually one of us can draw what it looks like back in our time, so they can tell, because since they saw it before, maybe they have maybe with the differences they can tell us what's the big differences are.
Maybe helpful.
I don't know how we would do that. It's not like I intentionally brought us here.
Well, yes, but
And if we could go back,
this is
take all of us back because we shouldn't be here.
Oh, he's not talking about taking back. He's talking about what you'd already seen to the people that are here.
Yeah.
Who have seen the Nexus.
Because basically show them what the tower looks like now, like what we saw. So maybe we can better. So we can better ideal.
Let's change the word "show" for "describe" because that's what you mean.
Also, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, remembering what a map looks like is extremely difficult, especially if it's a country map.
Yeah, I was about to say
the fact that one of us could just whip it out of our brains, there is a feat for being able to do that, but none of us have it. If one of us has it, I remember shocking. But
although I'm going to point out that all bar one character was traumatically affected during that period of time, and people under trauma quite often try to repress.
Repress it.
Yeah.
No, does any of us actually have?
No.
like defeat. So
No.
then I don't think it's reasonable for us to like be
There
able
are
to
people with
create a
counterintelligence.
recreational map.
Yeah.
I say we have a
it would
flying
go-
ship. We should have maps on the ship.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about redrawing what the Nexus looks like from memory so that you could compare what the old version and the new version look like and talk about what the differences may mean. Which, by the way, lovely thought. Not sure it's going to be much use right now. Unless you have a way to go back to the future to use that information to your advantage. Which swings sort of back around to what Jim's character was saying, was that he doesn't know how to take Hugo back.
But just in case we do, it will help in the long run.
Maybe. Well, I mean, is a
Yeah.
you can make attempts, but it'll be at a disadvantage for anyone rolling. Then the DC is going to be high.
I'm not even going to attempt because I'm probably one of like the most like incredibly traumatized. So even if I had the feat, I would not.
I know nothing.
No, you can make a
I'm
black
drunk.
blob that sort of looks like your fear.
I'm
Like,
Jon
you know those
Snow. I know.
H-splot tests? Yeah, it sort of looks like that.
An intelligence check.
At disadvantage, DC is high. And I assume Alphys isn't doing so because he doesn't feel like he'd have it. Yeah,
No.
you don't have it.
You know nothing either.
The tower. There were a few bricks missing. That's all I know.
It was like, fucking bricks missing.
Once again, you're not
It was only
wrong.
about the half the height. That's all I can really remember. It's only half as tall. For some reason, it got taller in the past. That don't make no sense.
So, yeah, what is the thought, the plan here? Is you could help these people out. You can, but basically, you've got an idea of what the world looks like in the past now, as you've had this map drawn up by them that's been given to you. Obviously, one of the biggest things you'll notice is the continents are continents instead of very small islands. Well, not very small islands, but there is nowhere near as many small islands about.
I'm AFK, so I'm going to be right back.
Okay, no problem.
And I guess the only thing we can really control is whether this tower goes down or not. And if the tower doesn't go down, it causes problems. So, yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
We should probably help them figure out how to destroy it.
Well, an apt and an interesting point, but do you actually have any sort of way to do something about that?
Well, what we can do is help them, and
I
we
can
help them
build stuff. That's about it. Maybe if I build a large enough cannon, I don't know.
We have cannons. We have cannons on our ship.
Yeah, that's not big enough.
Building weapons of the future in the past. Oh, I love this.
That's not big enough.
So what we can do is we can show them the cannons, and they can improve on it since apparently they have magical stuff.
They have some magical stuff, yeah.
I mean, technically, I could just make some explosives and try to set it at the bottom of the base. Pray that's enough to blow it up.
You could indeed try and blow the building up with explosives. You could also castrate yourself with a spoon. Neither of them sound like a good idea, but you could still do them.
But why?
Because I was making a point.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
I mean,
I'm not saying it's impossible. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yes, you could do so. It is entirely within the realms of possibility.
If it is the past, you had a piece of the Kraken hide that could be used for some scrying magic to find the Kraken. If we could convince the Kraken to destroy the tower, it would help. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It's interesting. It's
I figured we have someone who can talk the language of the Kraken.
Do you?
Yeah.
Krakens know Aquan.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I also don't know if anybody else does.
One party member that knows Aquan because he said so.
Oh, thank you for the raid, man. Much appreciated. We're streaming a bit of D&D here.
I don't have the flesh anymore. the skin, but I have the blood still.
I mean, that would do. It's just I don't have any scrying spells.
Froggy Ross, nice. Oh, nice one. Subscribe for 4 months. Nice one, man. Thank you for being here. Sorry, crack on with what you were saying. We just had a little pop in. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, no problem. Welcome, Raiders.
Yeah.
Yes, but if we do that, then we gotta go someone in high command so they don't, bring it up that that the newcomers have Kraken parts, a lot of Kraken parts.
Speaking of which, where did you say you left the Kraken hide?
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna worry about it, considering you might have gave it over to a random person that we don't know. This is the past. You could inevitably change the future.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said we shouldn't be here.
And yeah,
Although
I'm not a history major, so I don't know how that tower originally fell.
Can you give me
the thing is with time, it's not a straight line. So the fact that we're here could mean that we were meant to be here all along, or the fact that we are now here means that we were here all along. It's kind of confusing. Even if we weren't originally, that is now time because we are here. So
it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah, because just saying, we basically did see our ship, so maybe we switch places.
Or
yes, I don't know.
Or
I'm not a mage.
Or
I
the
am
other
a mechanic.
Or the other option is we've created another multiverse.
Multiverse theory.
I can tell you for a fact it's real. It's true. I'm not from your realm of reality. I'm from somewhere else. Whether that's a different multiverse, though, I don't know. Actually, might be the same verse, just a different realm. It's all confusing.
I would not know. I am just a simple mechanic.
I go ding on metal. That is it.
I make contraptions.
It makes satisfying noise. Boink.
It does things I want it to. I don't invest into magic.
Okay, the distance between things has been fixed. I will admit they were wrong at first, but they should be correct now.
I mean, if we weren't meant to be here, or if what we were doing would cause some sort of paradoxical world-ending event, I would imagine that the goddesses of time would intervene and stop this from happening, or something to that effect.
Give me a religion roll.
Do I get a bonus considering that it's my religion?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. 30th month in a row. Fucking hell. Froggy Storm. Nice one. Fuck me. That's a good bit of time.
30 months. Jesus, that's a long time.
18, 13?
18.
Yeah, okay. You'll know they wouldn't give a shit. It all fell apart. They'd sort of go, fuck it, round 2. They refuse to intervene.
Cool. Yeah, we can fuck it up. It doesn't matter. They'll just make a new one. It'll be all right.
I gotcha. They can do
Although, one thing may be pointed out. The moment, or in fact, actually give me a further... this would be slightly more theory-religion. So I'm going to ask for a combination roll here, and whichever one's higher is sort of what you actually get used to. One moment. Is going to be religion plus probably an intelligence check as you're trying to sort of come up with a combination of religion - theory information.
Arcana?
You know what? Yeah, Arcana's fitting. Magical based, yeah.
Well, yeah. You know, magic makes up the whole world.
Yeah. It's exactly the fucking same. You know what? That's fitting for this role. You've used the two and you've fused the ideas to kind of explain that what would probably happen is paradox would happen, time would break, and then they'd remake time and you wouldn't exist in that time. So you could fuck it up, but you're not going to exist afterwards. Everything else might, but at a point where you'd start to cause a problem, they've come back to the new timeline and you just stop. So if they've remade the timeline, either you should at some point just stop and you'll just die, or you can keep going forwards. You won't know until the train hits you. But they sort of aren't too worried about paradox. So if you can find a way to get out of a paradox without dying, and also not alert them to you being the cause of it, you might survive. As you know from your own experience, or theorizing from your own experience, because technically the fall of your city, the last city, was a paradox that shouldn't have happened, because if that happened and you go into a spiral that seems to be memory plus random fragments for a moment.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I have a strange look on my face, a sudden realization, and then just kind of shrug nonchalantly and just like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Like, fuck it.
Who knows if we would cause a paradox, and if we did, well, shit.
Well, my idea is to track down the Kraken. See if it enlist his help.
The crack? What? Why?
Because we have parts of a Kraken, and the Kraken isn't dead here, so because we watched it die,
But what's the chance of it being born to do this?
we helped kill it?
Right.
Yeah,
The Kraken's got to be at least a few thousand years old.
I just failed to see how us killing it in the future will make it predisposed towards us.
exactly.
No.
It won't. I don't think it would know. After all, I don't even think the gods know. It's like have that kind of power, except for like maybe a few. I've been told and what I understand of all this. I just figured since we have the parts of the Kraken around, it's a big creature. You can easily topple that tower without too much of a problem.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
I see. You mean just recruit it, or try to recruit it, and use
Yeah.
its future self parts to find it past
Yes.
itself.
So
Basically,
if we're using that logic, then we shouldn't use
No.
its teeth or something. We should use
No.
it like its
No,
blood, because
No.
if the Kraken bleeds.
No. because that is a paradox, isn't it? Using something now in the past from the future to find something in the past. That is like arguably a textbook example of a paradox.
we don't know how the tower was felled. I mean, I'm not a history
You're
major,
missing-
so I'm just putting out ideas. We need to destroy the tower. That's what happened in history.
Let me just put it in perspective, though. If we use something from the future to cast a spell now in the past to find something in the past by using parts of it from the future, that is a paradox, and you're intertwining that with the very fabric of magic you know what I mean? Magic makes everything. So you start casting spells with things that shouldn't exist.
Since we've already had spells cast at us, and we've already casted spells to repair the ship, we've already caused a paradox because we're here in this timeline. Time travel's weird.
That's slightly different.
My brain.
Us being here in the past, we're in the past. Us casting a spell is fine, but us casting a spell on something from the future to find something in the past. Do you not see how that's? It's a subtle difference, but it's in my mind it's a significant difference. Because
I'm our history expert when it comes to this time, and I don't even know how the tower fell.
Yeah, no one knows.
That's literally lost history.
Well, I mean, I'd argue it hasn't fallen because we've seen it in the future, in the present.
But basically,
to make a distinction to you, you'll at least know that it's been damaged. It is significantly shorter in the future than it is in the past.
Okay.
But you're not wrong. It hasn't fallen per se.
The second best thing I've got is explosives.
You got cannons.
I mean, Krakens are old, but I don't know if they're that old.
History check?
But
if you're actually curious to sort of, go around your books, because I'm assuming you have a form of you really don't have a fucking clue.
Kraken, never heard of it.
You can't find any history books about the Kraken, but you can find some very old tales, and they're written in a form of Elvish that is not modern.
I can't read Elvish.
Yeah, no, this was Von Bin's role.
Right, sorry.
That's all good. I mean, to be honest, I don't think he can read Elvish either.
I'm the only one who can.
I can't read Elvish.
Well, at the very least, you
give it
can
10
go,
minutes.
oi, what's this? Read this. And then alphas can read it and go, this is Old Elvish. And you can tell that, at the very least, there are songs about the Kraken from a very early time. How early? You'd have to go and carbon date the well, you can't even carbon date the book because it's not the book that's old, it's the song that's old, that's been passed through multiple different books. So you'd have to go find the original creator of the song, find out where they got the inspiration from, but you'd have to go and find that instead, but you can't.
I mean, we've got elves here. We could just ask the locals if they even know that song.
It's one way you could do it, yeah.
I mean, it could create a paradox. My God,
Like-
paradoxes are so confusing.
I mean, also like
Don't worry
thinking
about it too much. But like I say, doing magic on something from the future to find something in the past is pushing the boundaries of what I think we can get away with. That's all I'm saying.
meanwhile, like alphas is kind of there, just like for like it makes every bit of sense that krakens are ancient, like with how like a bit large, how intelligent, and how like crazy they can be. Like it makes sense from all
Yeah.
accounts that they are ancient.
Right.
How old? He has no idea. He hasn't paid attention. He's not a biologist. Like he's a man of
you
he's
can
a
take
man
a
of
good
faith.
guess that it's old.
Yeah,
Fair enough. So I mean, there's we could maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, we could just kind of go around until we find it. If we don't use magic to find it, would that cause a problem? I mean, we have a map. We could sort of see what's out there. As sure as hell, this map is weird looking in comparison to ours. I can sort of see some shapes that make up our current continents, but not a lot of them.
I mean, we could find it that way. It'd be easier. It'd be harder, but
Or we could go and find something else big and powerful. I mean, don't get me wrong, explosives probably will work. Although, is that a same issue? Something.
Dragons?
Yeah, dragons are definitely a possible. Probably would work.
Hey, I've got an idea.
What?
It's a really
Yeah,
bad
local
idea, but I kind of
dragon
like.
riders.
Go on.
Said
What
they
was
were
this
working.
bad idea? The scout will look, sort of like a sparkle in his one eye.
What if we somehow managed to acquire dragon eggs and then went back to the future?
Yeah,
Oh.
about that.
Oh my
Yeah.
That sounds enjoyable.
How
You'll see
would-
the
how
scout
would-
start to slink away a little bit.
How would
First
that
off,
affect an egg cycle? Like life cycle.
Wait a minute. Yeah, what happens to an egg if it goes
Chronologically
through?
radiated eggs. Time dragons. I like the sound of that even
Oh
more.
my god! The scout will run off to the kitchen to go and look at the fridge, or what supposes for your fridge.
Why is he running off to the fridge?
We had
Eggs and time radiated eggs. He's curious.
Oh yeah. You guys should know this. That pretty much dragon scales alone is being killed over. Dragon eggs is probably sent to hell.
Yeah, and not to mention what I have is not to be mentioned.
I didn't say it was a good idea. It was just a thought.
I mean, if you want to piss off the locals, you can do that. But they're gonna come skin you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then, but if I'm in the future and they're dead and buried.
Yeah, but if they kill you here in
That's
the
what we-
past, well, you're not in the
Believe, you
future
know,
anymore.
Assumingly they're dead. Assumingly.
Possibly,
I mean,
maybe.
The scout will come back with an egg, sort of disappointed, half cracked his hands. Still normal. That sucks.
Oh, that's good to know. So that'll just be normal dragons in the.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no, you put something around us, didn't you? What if we just, put one of them outside of that bubble thing you made? Do you think that would do something to it?
Yeah,
Can we
probably
try?
nothing good.
Oh.
Probably
What
nothing
way?
good.
Nothing good.
We just suddenly get a mutant chicken.
You know,
Yeah, what way not good? Because this sounds interesting.
We'd probably watch the egg hatch, turn into a dragon, get really old, and die within the space of 10 seconds, probably.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how old can a dragon get? If we could do it fast enough, do you think you could get the dragon to be an ancient dragon without having to be an ancient dragon.
But
Although
then
I guess
it would be an ancient dragon.
a
It'd just
history
be
quick
old
question.
and stupid.
Yeah, I was about to say, without the knowledge, I guess it's sort of not the same. What if you expose something to that sort of space we go through? Do you think it experiences the times it goes through? Do you think it could pick up something? Like information?
Yes, insanity.
You know what?
Oh.
Hey.
Well, think about it. If you're stuck next to a ship traveling through time, and the only thing you've got for company is a ship that you can't communicate with in the void of time, I think when you get to the other side, you would be insane.
You know what, Scout? Take an eye with moon travel and just put it out there for about a second.
I guess that's not working at the moment.
No, I've got static. Well, I've got less than static. I've got mud.
What?
Mud. I don't know. I got mud.
Okay.
Tell it's mud because it's brown and squishy. Oh, actually, wait. Is that somebody's intestines? I hope it's mud. I hope it's mud.
What the hell are you talking about? I'm confused. What?
If I look through the other eye, all I'm seeing is like... I'm not seeing what I normally see, which is like a black box, which is then normally opened up to the people who want to speak to me.
Oh, right. Well, yes. Whatever that box is made out of, I guess is a gem or something. It's probably in the mud.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that would make sense. So I'm just seeing a whole bunch of... I don't want to take this out, to be honest. Somebody help me. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
God
but
damn
then
it.
you have this really weird hole in your head.
Just an eyeball.
Yo, but what would be funny is...
It's only a hole. Who worries about having a hole in their face?
It would be funny to find that gem, but no.
No? Alright, right, fine. What do we think we can do then? I mean, there's...
We got cannons, and hey, we can probably do something with it, I guess.
We do have cannons. We could just launch cannons at them, maybe. They still need attaching. Do you think you can attach them?
Well, these elves are obviously trying to destroy this tower, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should just help them.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I
is
guess.
so is there any way to make extra volatile cannonballs to shoot at it?
Probably.
However, it's the Fae that are known to mess with time.
Maybe, yeah, I guess.
So what do? Just sit back and wait until we're sent back forward?
Or do we go and talk to the Fae to find a way to go back or back and forth?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I know there is accounts of the Fae doing weird and twisted things with time, like trapping people in a dance circle for 100 years. And to the people involved in the ritual, it's like a night of revelry. And when they wake up the next morning, it's not the next morning. It's like 100 years later, and everyone they know and love is dead. The Fae,
I don't think we want to travel that way.
Because the Fae also want your firstborn.
Well, it's not going to cause problems to us, is it? Because the thing is, all the people we know and love aren't going to die because they're in the future. So, like, we're not going to lose anybody. We just take the long way round by technically still existing through all of that time, but faster.
But once again, here's the thing, though. If they send us back to time, and let's say we're basically in the citadel, we'll come back in the citadel or something.
Well, yeah, that is actually a good point. We came back through time at the Citadel, which means that we have to come back that way, right? We can't come back somewhere else. We can't come back in, like, the Feywild, because then we'd be in the wrong place.
We could. I mean, we don't have to come out the same place we came in, necessarily.
But us coming out sent us in, so... we still need to do that, don't we?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
So, if we don't do that, we're not here, which means that's a paradox.
Yeah, no, you're right. I forgot that happened. Yeah, you're quite right. Ship was upgraded as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, and older. Like, fair bit older. I mean, I can't, look. I tell you how old something is sort of look, but I mean, there were some things on there that looked like they had seen a good fight and a good time. Not a good time, a good amount of time. That's where I'm.
So that being
Sorry, go on.
so that being said, I guess we got to fight.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I guess that was my plan.
Another hat in the ring is never a problem, like.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do we help these people then?
Yep,
Well-
and our choices is to fight them or use cannons. I vote use cannons because I'd rather not be anywhere near that tower.
So are these elves organized? Do they have like a king or a queen or?
Well, they seem to have a
leader.
cocoon with people planning something at the back here. Obviously, you guys are at the very front where the airship's parked. And all the way at the back of the mountain, there is a tree that has almost been sort of grown up into this cocoon that seems to be a central place that people are running backwards and forwards with messages and such all the time.
Right.
Why did I hear myself?
I'm going to head towards the cocoon then and see if I can organize a meeting with their leader.
Of course.
Okay.
You will almost doubtably get shunted to one side at first because of two things. Sorry. Go on.
Do humans exist?
They'll look at you and they seem to definitely sort of recognize what you are, but they won't seem to understand what you are. And they seem to be looking between you and a half-elf quite consistently, kind of going, eh. But the other thing I will say is that when you observe this half-elf, it is not like any half-elf you've seen in your day. This is not like a child of a human and an elf. It's like something is turning that elf into a human.
Okay. Yes,
Magic.
I mean, what else is?
Yeah, go on. Continue.
Yeah. So.
Another question: did you bring a translator with you, or are you coming up here on your own?
I'll just use comprehend languages.
Oh, yeah, that's all good. Yeah, crack on then. Well, obviously, I don't know if you've ever used comprehend language on Elvish before. Have you?
Probably.
Well, it just seems that you'll notice this language is slightly different. You'll be able to understand it perfectly. In fact, you'll be able to speak it better than somebody who speaks normal Elvish, because it's an older form of Elvish.
Right.
But yeah, you'll basically notice that there are some very big differences. This one's much more formal.
Right.
So, what can we help you with?
Do you wear your mother's drapes? What?
Fuck's sake. How may we help you? Are you a runner? Have you got a message for us? Have you been touched by the Fae? So it'd be regarding you with caution.
No.
Actually, you know what? Wait, step back that conversation for a second. Are you in your armor? I assume you've at least taken off your helmet. Yeah, you.
No.
No, you're complete.
Helmet on.
Okay, then actually, let me rephrase that. They'll say, "Hi, what the fuck are you?" Without the fuck. They're a little bit too polite for that. But you can hear it in the inflex in their voice. It's like, what the, are you?
I am Kellen. This is armor that I made.
Right. Okay. Very showy, and I don't know. It seems to have some interesting spinny contraptions. What's that one do there? Why is it buzzing?
That creates the charge so I can fire out lightning bolts at will without expending my magical energy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But
right, well,
spoilers. You're not really allowed to know about this.
Spoilers. This is spoilers for the future. Don't worry about it. What is a spoiler? You don't need to worry about it.
Okay. Spoilers for what? I'm sure. I was sort of informed by my two dragon riders about you, sort of, and we had chosen to keep that information to ourselves. Was there something more you needed from us? I mean, we've already agreed to keep your secret to ourselves.
That's okay. I've not come to interfere with that. We've come to offer our aid in defeating your enemy.
And I mean, you have the skill. It won't cause problems with your stuff.
Possibly, but we're here, so not to get too in depth about it. But when we got propelled back to here, we saw ourselves coming back from here looking like we had been there for a while. Does that make sense? Our ship looked battle worn and improved.
As you have been
and
here, you
aged.
must be here to go
Yeah.
back there. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what skills can you aid to us? Obviously, if there's anything you'd like to omit instead of what you have skill-wise, because it would be easier to say what you don't want to tell them about than the other way around.
We have a flying ship. I built that.
Yeah. What do you
we've got
not want to
magic-
tell them about?
No,
Because,
I'm literally telling them. We have a flying ship that I built. I've got this armor that
okay.
you seem to be quite amazed about. I mean, do you really need to give me an interview to consider if I'm useful to your cause?
No, just how we could use you. But I mean,
blowing stuff. I'm a mage primarily. I'm a mage.
right.
I'm
Okay.
good at blowing stuff up.
There is plenty of hags to blow up, unfortunately.
I can heal. Not like a priest can, but I still have rudimentary ability to heal.
We are lacking in that, so any healing is good healing.
The ship has limited abilities in combat. We have weapons that
Alphas would pop in there and just say that they can send any who need healing his way.
That is appreciated. Healing magic is one that is still new and fresh. Sort of a hard one for us to relearn.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like elemental magic is one of my fortes.
Seems that
control and manipulation of magic as well. So stopping magic, disrupting magic.
Ooh, that's possible. That is intriguing. Not a concept I've tried, but an interesting
one. Dispelling magic and countering magic.
Do you think you could dispel the bubble around the nexus? The shadow space that stops us from moving through without getting corrupted?
I would have to look and see. I'm guessing not by myself if it's a very large area. But maybe
do you think you'd be able to teach comprehension of this?
Possibly. I mean, it's yeah. I would have thought. My only issue is obviously teaching you things that you haven't yet learned yourself. You could see how that may be problematic with making too many ripples, if that makes sense. But then maybe that's how. Well, I suppose actually that complicates things even further.
Somebody would have to work out the theory from our side.
Well, I don't know because I'm technically not from here, so me interfering wouldn't actually be like me trying to teach you something that I learned from you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, your theory on this, what did you call it? Spelling? Dispelling magic? Was that what it was? Yes, your theory on dispelling magic doesn't come from what we are going to create. Therefore, you're not teaching an old dog new tricks, or vice versa. A new dog, old tricks.
It's not that I'm learning something that you worked out in, say, 100 years' time and learn 500 years in the future, because I'm not from this realm of this pocket realm, this realm of. I'm pretty sure I'm from this multiverse, but not from this realm.
Right. Okay, well then I say.
So, it's all confusing. My brain hurts.
But so much. Yep.
This is what we get for messing with time.
Blame the time mage.
Yes, you know what? Yes, we will use your help, and if you can stop the tower from putting out what it's putting out, then we can. Yes, we can do this. Our biggest problem with trying to raid right now is, I'm sure some of you saw out there, is that any time we enter the space that they spread out from the tower, it corrupts and twists us, taking the color from our skin, contorting our ears and our eyes, tightening the scales on the dragons. It seems to change us somehow, like the Fae have been changed as well. From once normal and happy creatures, a little bit too free-spirited and overly pushy and playful for our likes, to what seems to be dark and malevolent evil. Is this Harry Potter reference? No?
Shadow. Oh, okay. So you're talking about the shadow magic.
Yes, we believe that it's almost like they're ripping a space from somewhere else and pushing it out to here. It seems to sort of fluctuate with how much power they can push into sending the space out. It doesn't always go out as far as it does, but it always covers the tower, making it almost impossible for us to fully invade. All we know of the tower is that, at the least as we understand it, it takes a spell and amplifies it to the nth degree.
So, if I could get inside,
Mm.
it's kind of chicken and the egg situation. If you could get inside, you could cast a spell that would be amplified. So I could cast a dispel magic spell in theory, and it would be amplified, dispelling the effect that you're talking about. But to get inside the tower to do that, you'd have to get through the shadow corruption.
Yes, I think. It almost seems like the space that is there, it looks like the surface of the planet Zoolite, which obviously for people who know D&D is the Shadowfell planet in this game world. It almost it almost looks like the surface of the Shadowfell or Zoolite. Almost like that's being
what
sorry,
the tower and
the space around the tower, yeah. I don't know if you've ever looked up at the planet in the sky, but you can almost see this darkness that Maya's in sort of moves around it from time to time, and you can see the true surface underneath it. I mean, admittedly only visible when it is at its closest point, but that happens every about it does actually happen in the game world. I think it happens every 2 weeks, something like that. Like the moons that shift in how close they are to the planet, Zoolite and Osther, so the Shadowfell and the Feywild planet do become closer and further away at different times of the month. If I hadn't stated that before, but I think I had. But yes.
So I need some sort of protection spell. I mean, yeah, we need to do some research basically, find out what this is and what might stop it or counter it.
Yeah, and for me, that feels like a good place to wrap up. Is that okay for everyone else? We'll almost say that we'll go into the next to start doing this. And obviously, if you guys want to have a little think about what you could do between now and then on sort of theories and ideas, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good for everyone. So, thank you everyone for being here today. I believe that on this weekend, we still have Push to Talk, which will be tomorrow. And then we should have Oh, I'm trying to remember what the other one's called. Worm. No, that's. Oh, I mean, we will probably have Wormhole Wednesday. And I can't pull up the other one right now because my Discord is being used for something else. Give me half a second. But doink. Where is he? There he is. Where'd he go?
Nowhere.
Where'd it go?
Disappeared into the void.
It became the void.
The Meta Show was the other one that I forgot, which is also tomorrow. And then I'm not sure if we've still got our Monday show. I will admit. And then we will have Life Shifter, who should be on next Friday. And obviously today I have been a Joker XD, your host. We're alongside Ben Drunk, who is also on Twitch, and Mr. Night Dream, you can also find on Twitch. And they stream a variety of different amazing games, so please go check them out. I myself am currently streaming a Nuzlocke, so it would be awesome if you want to come and drop in and, play some Pokemon with me or talk about Pokemon. Or anything, to be honest, because I seem to go on tirades about random conversations because that's what happened on today's stream. As in the Pokemon stream, not this one. I mean, well, we did go on some tirades on this one. I also want to say thank you to Dread, Jim, and Vixie for being here with us. So thank you to my amazing team. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching us today. All right, so we'll catch you later.
Hello, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.